Hi, everybody, and welcome to another stream and Sunday. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Just to uh, show a little bit of the past week's updates. Also, I did do a stream on Twitch the other day just to see if my account still works. So I'll try to take your advice as to see if I can set up with Restream so I can stream um, to both platforms. But yeah, that was a good test. Why so angry? Hey, thanks so much for joining the Twitch stream. Yeah. So let's take a quick look at a couple of the things that I've added. I was um, I was hoping to get a little bit more done as far as some of the interactions go, but yeah, let's take a quick look. So something that I was kind of showing off last week was uh, primarily around these. Let me turn down the volume a little bit. Primarily around some of these kind of trash bins where you would interact and be able to pick up some scraps or some food to kind of do some basic crafting. And this actually can go like full screen over here. So the main thing was, depending on how you interact with these, I don't remember if I was showing this. So it's either like this or kind of like this where you just like throw the lid off of it. So once you interact with it, and I'm gonna turn the volume up a little bit, because once you pick something up, it gets added to the inventory, whatever's in there. Previously, I think last week when I was showing this, it was kind of popping out. It was just kind of thrown to the side, and you would have to pick it up. And I thought, this could potentially create issues. Mainly if there's any kind of collision issues that they might fall through it, and I didn't quite want to run into that. So what I did is, whenever you search through one of these, uh, the item gets added to the inventory, or your backpack inventory, whatever you want to call it. So, but when you in order to tell the player what you've picked up, let's take a look. So, I'm hoping you be able to hear this, and hopefully the audio is coming in okay. I think so. All right, so let's kind of rifle through it. Also, if you listen on in the background, there's like the little kind of rifling through stuff type of audio. So let's kind of I'll be quiet.
More scraps.
So hopefully you can also hear the 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 player's voice itself. Kind of just saying that okay, I found some scraps. Let's do it again.
Scraps. Good. Scraps. It's empty. It's empty. It's empty.
And so hopefully you were able to hear like the player also giving an audio cue as to what you picked up, the fact that that thing is empty, and also there's like the little text on the bottom saying that as well. Now, once you go to crafting, so as I've shown this last week, so you got the little UI that pops to the side, and once you go to the menu, I'm still working on kind of the style of it, and right now it's really basic. But you can scroll to this and you can see kind of the requirements in the middle, the item you can craft, and then how many or like how many of those requirements you need. So, an arrow needs 3 scrap and you have 3. Um, like I said, I'll probably write that to read a little bit easier. Lockpick needs 1 scrap, you got 3. So once, this can be done at any time during gameplay, so you have the bow equipped, and let's pick up a couple of these, and you equip the bow. You know, you can like fire that and you can create an arrow and then it gets spawned and you can just pick it up. And now you've run out of scraps or like run out of everything in your inventory. You can go back and you know if some of these might allow you to search through them like multiple times, like for example, with these ones, I've set them up in a way, so let's actually restart this so we can also save it. And I'll set this one to the left to say that it can spawn uh, two, okay? So you can go and search through it two times, but once you've done that, it's you know you're not going to be able to find anything else. You know, it's going to say it's empty. So now if I go in and I
Please
start the
don't
game,
shoot. I don't know where they are.
so I think it was this one. So once you search through it,
More scraps.
I found some scraps. And say for example now you save the game. So just going to exit, save the game, and just kind of quit the game, right? So if I go back in and I start playing again, and of course this would be I have to load, you know, you'd have to load from that spot. So there we are. And you come back to this trash bin that you've previously looked through before. So now you can like search through it again
Scraps.
and you find some more scraps.
Good.
And now, if I didn't introduce any bugs, once you search through it again, it should say it's empty. Let's see.
It's empty.
So now it says it's empty because I've already looked through it once, you know, one time before saving and then the second time after this. Um, so, and yeah, this one, actually it should have, I'm not sure why it didn't say, I think there's like a little bit of an issue with this one. It should have said open lid, but I'm not sure. I might have made a little bit of an error there. All right. Now the other thing that I've worked on actually this morning is the kind of the fist fighting, right? So if so right now the the way the fists are displayed, I was trying to make these feel a little bit more natural, and also when you hit, you can like kind of hit at all the angles, you know, like punch up, you know, kind of in the middle. Um, and I'm still working on trying to get the punches to be aimed towards the center. Right now, they're a little bit not all over the place, but see, like this one, it's kind of like going to the side a little bit. So yeah, you're not a professional fighter in any means of the word, but yeah, you can see that some of the punches are not uh, always in the same spot. So I'm gonna try and fix that. But yeah, at least now you know once you get into a fight and you don't have any weapons, you know these are you know kind of you know your guns are up, right? So and then you can like punch and you know you can like start like going through with this guy. Whoops. And you can see like the enemy reacts once you hit them, and I think it should be doing a little bit more damage. And yeah, you can see like if I miss, you know, I do miss. Oops, that was that's something interesting that I need to look into. Why is it it ran into me and it kind of just threw me, you know, 10 meters away. But yeah, so there's and since this guy is still physicalized, you can like I think you can still I thought you yeah, there you go. So you can it would still react to things. I'm still debating whether to keep them around or just completely disappear that body after a while for the enemy. So yeah, they're not running anything, you know, like they're not running their behavior tree anymore or um, any of the animation stuff, but since they're just ragdoll at the moment, so that's not so much of a take on performance, but yeah, I might just might want to get rid of them completely. All right, so yeah, let's jump into the main level, and I'll show you a few of the updates there, uh, because as I mentioned last week, I was working on the bridge itself, and kind of like that the bridge that um, we kind of prepped the area for in the last stream. So yeah, let's take a quick look at that. I'll also share a little bit on the HLOD work that I've been kind of practicing, and we'll jump into game mode, and I'll show you how that is currently working out. I'm still experimenting with it a little bit, but hopefully it will give you guys a few more details that hopefully will help you out. It seems to be helping me out. It definitely uh, brought quite a performance improvement when in game mode. But again, I'm just scratching the surface, so to speak. So hopefully things are just going to get better. So yeah, let's load into here. And another thing that I'm going to try and revisit. So I've looked at this a while back is virtual textures. You remember that message that I get at the top left corner where it says, you ran out of video memory and expect extremely poor performance. So the last time I was looking into virtual textures, they they were helping with that count. So, with however much video memory the game needs. And so I'll quickly also kinda give a quick overview of that and hopefully, what I'm gonna attempt to do. So yeah, let's load into here. All right, there we go. Yeah, so one thing that I did is I did do a little bit of a cleanup on what HLOD all my levels are using. So for example, this town, and yeah, it's hopefully gonna be, not sure why this one is happening every single time. It's really, really odd. And okay, so there we go. So with each one of the way I've set up my world is like you have all these level instances. This is with the town and some of the other related areas. But inside of each one of those, as soon as this thing is, haven't had this happen where the preparing textures takes this long. It's usually like really, snap of a finger type of thing. But yeah, so I was talking about this well, video memory has been exhausted issue. So that one also it's because of me, like I use kind of, a lot of packages from the marketplace and I still haven't, kind of consolidated a lot of the textures under, maybe a couple of brick textures or a couple of, I don't know, like sheetrock siding type of thing. So yeah, let's actually look at this first. And let me see, where is that? I think it was was it under tools, audit, and statistics? Let's see, whenever that thing pops up. Oh, there it goes. All right, so in here, we'll have this texture stats of everything. And let's actually look at all streaming levels. So let's do a refresh. Yeah, so there you go. There's like a ton of stuff at the moment. In the build game, they're probably not that much just because it doesn't load everything. We're using the HLOD system and all that. But um, what I've noticed the last time I was trying to use virtual textures was that it was helping a lot with how much it was the size of these textures that were loaded into memory. The downside to that, and that's why I kind of said, I'm going to try and make things more organized, was that it added quite a lot of complexity to the shaders. It looked like almost 100 instructions when I was using virtual textures versus just the regular type of textures. So I'm going to try and revisit that a little bit and see if that's still the case and if that would impact performance greatly, and also how much of a gain am I going to get by using virtual textures. There's also like the thing with uh, I think they're also better loaded into memory, so that's why it probably does a much better job at how much it loads, like a smaller size. So hopefully will be an improvement because of that, and it should offset the higher cost of the shaders. All right. So I was talking about HLODs, right? So each one of those, they have HLOD layer, and in this case, I have it as HLOD instancing. And um, if you're interested, the one thing that kind of threw me off for a little bit was that, you know, in your world settings, there's this thing called a default HLOD layer. So I was having a little bit of a conflicting experience with this that after building HLODs and going into game, one thing that I can't tell is how can you view the HLODs when you're not in game mode? So I'll show you how they look in game mode, but outside of game mode, I wasn't sure how to visualize the fact that you've built HLODs and what layer are they using. But yeah, let's jump into game mode and I'll show you what I mean. And another thing that what it seems is that with HLODs, they seem to be picking up um, the uh, also kind of the rendering distance. Oh, and actually it starts from the beginning of the game. So that's a good test, I'm guessing. So let's start from here. So there's like you're in the plane. I kind of put you a lot closer to the jump point, so you don't have to like wait for it to fly for forever. So it's moving a little slow, but that's fine. All right, so now we're gonna jump out of this, and and just the fall point, you're passing out. Now you're kind of press space to get up, so you're getting up. Let me minimize a few of these tabs that I have open on the side here. Maybe things are gonna run a little bit better, I hope. Hey Daniel, Daniel, welcome, welcome. How's it going? All right, so let's head on over and yeah, you can see like the video memory has been exhausted. It kind of went pretty high, so that's not what I want, and that's why I mentioned that I'm gonna try and use and kind of revisit the virtual textures things and see how much of an impact those would do. All right, so let's see. This guy is walking away. He's like patrolling. I'm just gonna try and take care of him first. All right. So as you walk towards town, you'll kind of notice that uh, you kind of see it in the distance, but you'll see. I hope it kind of comes through on your end as well. Like, and actually, I'm just gonna exit. But you can kind of see right here, like how the HLODs are being applied. And this is a matter of choosing a better HLOD method. In my case, I think this one is is not an instancing. That's why you see these weird kind of like blocks. So let me select this, and you'll see that it's using this new HLOD layer. And I believe, that's kind of how the labeling is happening, new HLOD layer. And so it kind of falls back onto the default HLOD layer instead of the one that I had selected for this level instance. But at the moment, you'll see that the town is in place, and if you look at the outliner, you have all these pieces that are just HLOD, um, and there's also like only that many actors. So now this is what I'm still experimenting with, and I'm gonna try and use like an instancing type of HLOD layer because I think at the moment this one might be merged. So I'm not sure if that is better than the instanced option because, and also just I wanted to show you what the HLOD does. So it just kind of clumps. That's a very a very base level term, but it joins all these meshes that are in that vicinity into one clump, which is this one, right? So if I was to hide it, that's the HLOD layer. And as you get closer to this, based on the world partition grid, from what I can tell, then these ones turn into their individual pieces. So let's see if this works if I'm like out of the game itself. It might take a little bit to update. Let me see. Maybe I need to walk up a little bit closer. Yeah, let's try doing. Oh, there it goes. So now you can see that it kind of falls back onto each individual piece that this one has. And I think at this point, and you also see like the number of actors has increased. So I think at this point, this could benefit from being a pack level actor. So basically having this building as a pack level actor, then also applying HLODs on top of that. So then, once you're this close to it, it would just be one piece of one actor that has a lot of just single instances. But like I said, I'm still experimenting with that, so bear with me. But I just wanted to share some of the updates on what I'm trying to do as far as optimization. And this is just a little bit of, one thing, like I haven't done the entire world. Let's see if this one over here should have been on that, but I think it's just the player is too far from it and it's not being rendered. So let's jump into, let's control the player again. And I'm gonna try and get closer to that junkyard so we can check it out. Hey, Legends Never Die, welcome, welcome. Yes, on YouTube. All right, so we'll do a little bit of swimming. I still need to like unequip the weapon once you start swimming. And once you're underwater, it shouldn't be like, oh, that's interesting. Why is it that it did not, oh, it kind of, oh, I mean, oh yeah, you're still in the water. That's interesting. I was thinking that I kind of moved the player a little higher so that, once you're in like a first person view, which is kind of how the game is going to be, you were like you're seeing above the water. But I guess I might have moved the pivot down, or not the pivot, but excuse me, I just had to cough for a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of moving the player pivots down a little bit. So there you go. We're just outside of the water now, and we're kind of, let's see if we can get to where that junkyard is. See if it got loaded. It still didn't get loaded. I'm wondering what layer or HLOD layer that one's on. why it, whew, that was a little close. And okay, some things are seem to be loaded in. Let's see if we can get a little closer to it. Ah, that's interesting. Why didn't this level get loaded? Hmm. Okay, so that's something to look into. But what I was expecting was, um, that this one here, this level would also get loaded in. But let's take a quick look and see what. Yeah, see, this one's set to HLOD instancing because there's a lot of the same item on there. So that's what I'm hoping that like an instancing version of an HLOD, which basically is just like this, has a instancing layer type. There's other options like merge mesh where it just merges everything together. I haven't tried simplified mesh or the other ones, but so I'll have to look into this. And it's on a runtime grid of small assets, just like some of the other ones, but I wonder if it has to do with it might have to do with the data layer asset. So that's another thing to consider. And I think it might be because this one is set on a runtime instead of an editor type of thing. So I'll have to dig into that a little bit as well. For now, I've been using like these data layer assets just as a way to organize things. When you just want to hide some of these levels and just get a little bit of better performance in the editor. All right, so that's kind of what's the side of trying to better the performance of this. Um, yeah, so hopefully I'll have more by next week, just a little bit more findings on that and share it with you guys. All right, so let's go into what we've started work last week and kind of refine this a little bit better. So one thing that you'll notice from last week is I have a bridge in place, and so there's like a road happening, and of course, and there's also like a few enhancements slash improvements to how the dam looks. Mainly just around these. I wanted to have kind of these pipes coming out of the dam that they would dump water whenever like the I think what the lake above would like overflow. I'm not entirely sure how it's actually called in like the real world of dams and hydroelectric, but yeah, I've seen a lot of them that just have like a way to like dump the water out, and this one was the simplest way that I could do the sculpt in Blender and all that. And remember from last week we've done the kind of the side road, this maintenance road going to the side of this and entering the dam. So I think today what I'm gonna try and do is refine this a little bit better and get it to look you know like something and not just it's been slapped in place. So we'll probably do some like electrical cables going down this road and then probably feeding into here somehow. Also, probably do a little bit better with how the fencing is in place and yeah, let's see how that's going to turn out. All right, so first, let's actually get the road to meet with kind of join to this road a little bit nicer. And I'm gonna go and just steal the a few elements from here. So, like a few decals, some of these over here. Actually, I had them in this place and on this side as well. So this one, this one, this one. And maybe not that, but but this. All right, so having these, let's try and kind of move them over here. Let me try and do a copy. And let's just edit, paste here. There we go. I'll try and like position them as best as I can. It's also like this road is a little bit smaller, and I was thinking of replacing the material for it as well, just so that it's not like a two-lane type of road. We'll see how that's gonna work out. So I'm gonna start by try to get this one placed over there, and then this guy to about here. And this one, because this one's the one that does quite a bit of the work. Let's see, maybe make it a little bit smaller. This kind of just helps with the overlap so you don't see this straight line. And that one could be right there. Let's see how we can position this one. Right there, that's good. And then this guy. Somewhat like that. There we go. And so that kind of, they seem to join together quite all right. Let's see if we can adjust this point to about there maybe. That's kind of having the advantage of this not being a completely flat mesh and having a little bit of a displacement. All right, so let's see if we can adjust it. Sometimes just patience is key. So that looks all right. Let's just try and arrange this stop sign. And I was saying that I'm gonna try. I think I have another texture for this that does not have like a line down the middle. Just being like kind of a service road. I don't think it's gonna need it. So let's go ahead and select these segments. And then we'll do this material override. And I think this could be it. There we go. And it's just a simple road with no lines. I mean it could be now that I'm thinking about it, it could have been one that's got the let me share this here so and close that. So right now it's just this basic, not necessarily basic, but it's got no lines on the sides. I kind of wish that I had one with lines. Let's see if I think that one has a line down the middle. So not so much, but something. Um, yeah, I don't know about that. I think I'm just gonna stick to what I had, and I'll try and get a you know uh, Photoshop fired up at one point and get get add the lines in there, see how those are gonna look, and then for this particular decal, let's see if I think I had one without the middle line, so there it goes. And let's see how we can, especially with this road, kind of coming to the side at an angle, it's it's not really helping with whenever you want to blend these things together. So let's see how we can get this. That helps having that one in place. And let's also try and I'm going to try and also use this stop sign to cover, because the main thing is, and now it's actually much less noticeable, but it's this point where the side road and the main road join together that I was trying to like remove this as much as I can. You can like see this right here. And let's try and see if we can. There we go. That's better. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is just the patience and like still not quite there. And let's just try and kind of sink it in a little bit. Okay, I'll take that. That's okay. All right, yeah, that's good. And once this one is somewhat there in the middle, that can also kind of take the eyes off of that that point where they join. The only thing is, kind of this point here, where I have this decal. Let's see if we can, let's see how it looks without it first. You know what? It's not too bad. I might just get rid of it because since it's just for a straight road, it doesn't really, maybe if we turn it to the side a little bit like that, it kind of blends in with the rest a little bit better. But let's see, how does it look without it? And with it? I don't know. I mean, it somewhat helps, but let's see, maybe move it to the side a little bit. But yeah, let's just get rid of it. Yeah, I'll get rid of it. All right, so let's do a quick sculpt so we can hopefully address this little line there. There we go. That's better. Okay, and let's see, can we help this out a little bit? There. It kind of looks like it follows the road, so that's pretty good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to try and get this fence um, to fit in a little bit better. I'm not entirely sure. One thing that I was considering, this uh, this being one of those scatter tools, while it works as a spline, um, it's not, at least not that I could figure it out. It doesn't like really bend the mesh in a way like a spline you would think of does. So let me show you what I mean. So I have a like a general type spline that I've created, and let's see how this one behaves if I apply the same mesh to it. So I'm gonna make it so that it follows the road. Just kind of apply the, and this is a good place where you can also rely on. Oh man, sometimes these rotations are not working out so well. Sometimes for this you can also rely on another um, spline, like another landscape spline. But let's see how this behaves for this general spline that I have. So I'm just going to try and kind of twist it along the road like this. Hey, 3Die. Hey, bienvenue. Thank you so much for joining. Good to have you. All right, so now that I have this in place, let's actually use the mesh that I have here to apply it to this and see what mess this is going to create. All right, sometimes it's kind of like the direction of the mesh that I have to work on. Um, that didn't doesn't look so great. Yeah, that sucks. There we go. So, but the issue with this is just that it stretches it out pretty badly, and of course the orientation is horrible. So let's see if I was to use a landscape spline to do this, to place this mesh. So let's do going into edit mode here. And also the other thing with this is I wish there was a way, at least I couldn't figure out, where you can tell a specific spline to not sculpt a road. So I'm gonna work out with this one for now. So let's just place the spline kind of going towards this way and this way, probably ending like right there. All right, so now that I have this new spline, I'm gonna select the control points, the half width, and this is again one of the issues that I don't understand. Um, when you set this, especially because you know you want to sculpt it with the roads, right? You want to sculpt the terrain with the roads, but you don't want to sculpt it with like guardrails uh, or um, or fences or things like that that you want them to follow the road, but you don't want those to sculpt the road. So whenever you set this to a small value, it it also sets the the this little gizmo, or not gizmo, but like billboard, whatever these are called, it scales it down too. So it's pretty frustrating when you can't see them. But yeah, once you add a segment, so let's add a segment, and we'll see how this one is gonna look like. All right, so this is oriented badly to begin with, and I'm not entirely sure if this one has, let's see, actually forward axis. There we go. So yeah, this one actually works quite a bit better, as you can tell, because it actually bends the mesh much better, so it can like follow along much better than how this one is, this eye scatter tool. So yeah, this is the eye scatter tool, perfect for straight fences. Place them where you don't really have a place where you would put a landscape spline. But for things like this, I think the landscape spline works just really good. Hey, Min, welcome. Do you share landscape material instance? So it actually this landscape material that I have is one of the tutorials on my channel. So feel free to check that out. And I think I also share like links to where or at least to the Quixel textures that I use. So yeah, it should be on there. All right, and since this one is like that, let me see if how would it look? I'm gonna try and X, Y. So we got that the right direction, but I was trying to get it so that it's yeah, that's not Z. There's kind of a little um, it's a little bit weird how these are. So up axis is Z, but then yeah, the forward axis and then the scale is off. So we'll just have to adjust this. Maybe let's see, 0.75, just to get them to a different scale. I wish I could set them so that you know, they're like flipped around, but I don't really know. So yeah, let's I think this is gonna work. You know, it does a really nice job at following the road itself. And it's kind of like, I'm not sure why it's such a pain to select the spline point. This is interesting. Like sometimes the gizmo, the transform gizmo would also disappear. I'm not entirely sure the reason, but if you click on W to get like the translation, um, it kind of it works. All right, so there you go. We have the fence. I think I'm gonna go with the landscape spline because it feels a little bit more, even though, you know, it's kind of a, I don't know. I mean, would you have the fence like really just follow the road like it's a guardrail? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a good attempt. But I think I'm just gonna go with the straight fence, you know, like this one is. It just feels a little bit more, you know, I would build a straight fence. Um, Not sure how much I would build like a thing that just follows the road like that. So I'll try this out and see how see how it turns out. Hey, Legends Never Die. How you have your locomotion set up? Yeah, totally. So let me get this done, and we can you know, as we get towards the end of the sprint or sprint, I'm still stuck with Jira from work. But as we get to the end of the stream, I'll jump into um, my animation blueprint and show it to you because I actually have it pulled up. So yeah, let me know. Hopefully, would that work for you? Oh, terrific. All right, so let's get this in place. Let's make sure that this one is kind of ending over there. And so let's bring this up to about there, maybe a little more. But for now, let me, it's so hard to select these, some of these transparent items or like masked items. So I'm gonna try and place these kind of like this. There we go. Just to put it a little kind of perpendicular to this road. Hmm. I don't know. This is a tough one. I wanted to have this like in place like this, but it's kind of thrown me off as to how to do it. So let me do 70. So what I think I'll do is I'm gonna make this shorter, maybe like so, just to have a little bit of a better control over it. And then, you know, I'll add like a little L in here and extend it out this way. So it will kind of follow the road in a way, but yeah, hopefully you'll see what I mean in a little bit as to what I'm gonna attempt to do. Attempt is kind of the word of the day. All right, so let's try and get that in there like so. There we go. So this is what I'm hoping to do, where we have 3, 4, and then an angle. And this is where the trying to keep these on a grid like this one's -70 is gonna help me out. And this one is 70. And just trying to put these together. Let me see, what scale did I set these at? It's at scale 1, but it's not really a scale 1. And I think that's a little bit of a bug in this version that I have for the scatter tool. So let's just increase this. I know these fences, they feel like a little bit small next to the player, so just gonna bump it up like this. And try to join these like so. And then with this next one, let's see how this is going to work out and create like a little bit of a bend like that. And this one, maybe I can arrange it like this. So then the next piece can continue like this. One thing that is a little bit frustrating with this tool, and I get it that it's not probably possible, but the pivot point, uh, depending on, it's pretty offset like this, instead of being like in the middle, but I get it, it's based on where the spline points are at, so not always perfect. All right, so let me get this one to be a little bit shorter. But yeah, having this little corner in here adds a little bit of a, it's not always just so, um, just a little bit of a, okay, this is human made type of thing. Not that when it followed the road it wasn't, but I wasn't sure. It just didn't really stick with me that well, for the fence to perfectly follow the road like that. All right, so let me get this whole thing to move, not just the spline point. Yeah, see, this is what I meant, like um, the pivot point is way over there. And I'm guessing, this could be fixed if I was to like, move these this way. This should kind of help me out a little bit. And now if I select this, there we go. So let's try and place this here and then just do some fine adjustments. And what I'll do, maybe I'll just overlap these a little bit. Might look kind of cool. There. Okay. So this one, I could actually add a few more to it. There, to about that point. And then we have one down here. To join these together. And of course, like at the points where they're supposed to be joined together, I could add some like ivy or some bushes or something that would kind of mask that adjoining point. So this one would be to about there. And we'll play around to sculpt the terrain a little bit so that it's and also add a few of the rocks and such so that it's a little bit more not just completely just terrain and vegetation. Okay, actually, I think that 12 was good. So, and we'll add the corner onto this end. Just like this. It seems like a little bit elevated from the road. So trying to think as to how can we get that in? Um, if I want to keep it like this at this level, or I wanted to, this spline for it to be kind of going downhill like this. It's a little, I mean, it's not bad per se, but you get all these like barbed wire lines just hanging up in the air. So I'll try and keep it, oops, not like that, but uh, let's see how it looks if I just keep it horizontal like this. And then this one would be over there. Oh, and I forgot sometimes you need to save. Alright, so let's try and for this one, get it to be at that point. I can actually lower this down a little bit since this corner is a little bit taller, so that could help. All right. So this one could be fine to flatten it to a point. Let's see, I'm gonna start since we're starting on this end. can do it like this. Let me close a few of these things that I still have open over here. All right, and maybe go a little bit further to there. I don't want to go get too close to that road because it's gonna sculpt it back in. So that's quite okay there. And I'm just gonna try and do the rest with some of these meshes that I use all over the place, these big rocks. Let's try these out. They're kind of ginormous, not gigantic, but this one in particular has, I think, a couple of flatter faces that I might be able to use. So let's try this. Okay, that's actually not that bad. That could work. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's actually, I think that might work. I mean, it's kind of too big. So let's overlap it with this. And then I do have a couple of those that I use that are really flat. And those could work in this little corner here. Let's try that. There we go. That might just work. Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's just add a few things. What I try and do is kind of, you know, there's that, I think it's like a concept or it's kind of like when it comes to level design, small, medium, large type of thing, so you got like the large, but I don't have any small, medium around here. So it's kind of, the transition is somewhat broken. And that's why I want to place maybe some of these rocks down here. Like that's maybe a little bit too big. I made it. One was probably fine. So something like this along with, let's see, how big is this one? Yeah, and something like this along with something like this. So I remember like I was using these kind of like scatter type of rocks, type of meshes around here. And yeah, I need to try and get them so whenever they're doing their trace for placement, this has a little bit of an option here to set a few of these to ignore. So for example, that one would be one. Also, I'm gonna need to remove a couple of these spline points. So this one I don't need. It was just going into the dam area. This one can be pulled out like so. And this one over here. One thing that I still need to figure out, and I might need to edit this particular this particular actor is that it's, for whatever reason, it collides with these trees, and I don't know why. So I'll need to look into that and see like whenever it does it, it spawns on this. And so I'm gonna try and get it. The tool itself has an option of what physical material to not spawn on. And let me see where that one is. Um, where was it? I kind of remember seeing that as an option in its settings. So I'll need to revisit that. Oh yeah, so for example here, this one's the I scatter physical material. Oh, object types to trace on. So I think, let's see, this is world static. So I think these ones might not be world static, these trees. So let me see if I do on. Will it, will it redo the, huh, okay. But hopefully you get my point as to like this one. If I set it to world static, so you know the landscape should be world static, but I'm not entirely sure about these trees if they're set to world static, which I mean they should be, but yeah, I think it might be easier to just try and just adjust the spline itself, you know. So in this case, it'd be moving it to about here, so that way it run into doesn't cause any unforeseen issues like that. All right, so let's get these ones to be a little bit less. And it's not that it spawns like 1,000 instances. It just like it tries to make one where it has a place that it can place it on. And yeah, the more they are, the more it's gonna try and like look for these spots. But all right, so let's do so no collision. That's all good. And let's see, is it aligns? It's aligning to normal. So none of these, and there's like a way to like just keep them rotated. I'm just gonna smooth the terrain a little bit because you know on some of these areas it's since this is not it's kind of like a flat mesh. It doesn't really there you go, that's better. It can leave like an edge hanging in the air, so it's just it it would end up looking a little bit weird. So for example, over here, as you can tell, this one. But yeah, this is what I meant by, you know, small, medium, large. Um, so I'll add maybe a couple more of these down here, kind of just fallen debris type of things. Let me do another type of these that I use. Let's see if I can find it. It's basically one of these. Just to place some of these as well. Yeah, so there we go. That's a little bit better. And let's finish off this little area. I mean, this corner was what I meant. And I'm gonna make this one slightly bigger so that it's kind of like right at the dumping point of the dam. And it's really just joining into the lake. And let's see what happened to the bridge. Oh no, that was bad. And I think what had happened is I used to have a spline down here that was sculpting the riverbed. And unfortunately, I think I might have deleted it. So let's add it back in. Um, if you remember last week when we were doing the tunnel for the train over at the chemical plant, I had that in place as well, so it was sculpting underneath pretty nicely. But now that spline unfortunately is gone. I was trying to do some more sculpting of the riverbed, but let's just quickly add it. And we'll just add it from here to here so that it kind of creates that thing um, underneath the bridge. So let's make it maybe a little bit wider. Let's do 2000. Is that going to be too much? Well, we'll see. Let's see what happens now. Oh, there we go, but it is still not, it did sculpt it before, but now it's just not doing it. And I was thinking at one point that just like with the decals, the splines have a like a overlap kind of value where some one with the higher overlap would be taken into account before the one with lower overlap. But I don't think, I'm not sure how that is. Um, so in that case, what I'm gonna do, unfortunately, I didn't really want to do that, but yeah, I don't really want to cut this road going over the bridge because it kind of works out, you know. And I was hoping to just rely on this one here. Let me see if I actually add a couple more points because some of these sometimes they're a little bit weird when you only have like 2 points on a spline. So let's try that one more time. Yeah, that didn't really like that. Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, it's not that big of a problem per se, but like I said, I was hoping that I could just use this road to sculpt things out. So um, let's do this one more time. There we go. So now we have the bridge itself, and I'm just gonna go ahead and delete these control points. and then I'll add a second set of splines going from here to where the tunnel would be. And let's actually see if we can get this one to kind of overlap with the bridge a little bit, just like this, so that we get somewhat of a transition. And this one also has a end fall off of 0. So I'm trying to kind of just sculpt this area based on the spline. It could be done manually just as easy, but I think that might make it a little bit simpler. All right, let me hide this. I think there is some little bit of an issue with this kind of thing, with this uh, this is actually a spline here, but where it thinks it's hitting something, but I don't know what, that it creates this kind of just um, this kind of junk that is on the side of wherever it contacts a certain point. But actually, oh, I think it might be because this bridge itself has a weird collision. I'm willing to bet that. Let's see. So let's show the simple collision. Yeah, as you can tell, it's right there. That was weird. All right, so let's see if so I did remove that. Where is the rest of it? There you go. So I guess I just had to kind of move it up and down a little bit. All right. And from here, it just looks that I'm going to have to add the road pieces manually for what's going over the bridge. Let me just grab that. Luckily, this is rather, it's not a very small mesh, so we're only gonna need maybe a couple of them. Maybe more than a couple. And yeah, this is another reason why having this road be slightly displaced, as it kind of helps with it blending into the rest of it. So like at this point here, this is probably going to be, with some like a road type of like crack or something like that. So that could easily help with that transition. We'll add that in. But for now, let's try and get this one to be on the grid so I can position it easier. There we go. So let's turn this on and place the next piece like that. And then one more piece there. And then the rest of it is just going to join into this next section of road. So let's add that in. There we go. And I think it's just the scale of it that it might be it's a little bit too big. So going into the control points, can't recall what I've set this one to, 700 maybe? Nope, 6. I think might have been 6. There we go. Now it's just a matter of selecting these points. There. Okay, not too shabby. I mean, that did did go for a little bit of a detour with this road, but there we go. It was an unfortunate event that I ran into when I realized that this one was not sculpting like before. All right, and then let's kind of use this one here. There it goes. It's just right under the road and under the bridge. And one more to do this corner. There we go. Give it, have a little bit of variety. All right. And then just one on this side. We can make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So that's good. Let's paint a little bit of mulch around this. Actually, no. One thing that I forgot that I wanted to add in here is like one of those um, like a transformer type of location tower type of thing. Um, and I think what I'm gonna try and use for that is I was thinking about like one of these buildings, but at the same time it could be like a power station like this. Um, so I'm thinking maybe something like this might work a little bit better. And this is the point where I wish I didn't break these down. Um, like this was its own level at one point, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna break these down because they weren't linking into each other properly. But I think this, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use like the little, I'm gonna copy all this stuff and put it there. Hey, Vichex, um, it is open world in a sense of, you can navigate everything that is here, but it is story based. So, it's not a Daisy kind of game, if that's what you were asking, because I know that's the only thing it seems like people play nowadays. But no, it is open world, like I said, in the terms of you can go anywhere. But yeah, it's got a beginning, middle, end. All right, so there's that, maybe these points here. And the reason that I wanted to use this is also because they can link into one of those big electrical poles. So let's grab that, and that's what I'm gonna use this little space here. We'll see how this is gonna fit in here. Oh, and I was kind of thinking it's a little bit, it wasn't, I was kind of thinking it was going to be really big, like taking a bunch of space, but I don't know, it's actually fitting in quite all right inside of this fence area. We'll probably have to remove the fence, but because it's already fenced in. But it seems like it's gonna fit in here. So search loot around. Well, yeah, not so much as if you think of crafting, like crafting is going to be, I was showing it earlier in the beginning of the stream. you're gonna be able to craft like items such as like lockpicks and bows, and that's about it. You're not gonna be able to craft like, a key or something like that. But since it's, story based, you'll be able to search through like trash or through some other items and, find items related to the quests or items related that you can use to craft basic things. But yeah, I mean, it's not like you can craft a weapon or things like that. So the crafting is there, but I didn't want to make it too complicated. So yeah, thank you so much for asking. If you check the beginning of the video, I was showing how the crafting is gonna work. Let me see if this one is somewhere around the. Hey, I think it's there. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Thanks again for asking. All right, so let's remove this, and then what this one is gonna need to link, it's gonna need one of those electrical poles. So let's place one of those. And we'll probably, not sure if this is gonna look weird. um, for somebody that might be like a power plant engineer type of thing. What is this guy doing? This does not exist in the real world. All right, so let's place one more here at the top. Oh, and I kind of messed this one up here. I was trying to figure out how to add some details to these kind of dumping vents, dumping areas. So there we go. I mean, before it was just a straight road into this opening, and I think hopefully now it feels more like a power plant type of thing. All right, and let me see. Let's flatten this terrain up a little bit so that we everything is kind of sitting. Oh, actually, no, no. I am going to put there a slab of concrete. So let me just grab that from whatever level I place this in. Oh yeah, it's under the town. Huh. Okay. So let's grab one of these and what else? Maybe this. That sidewalk is not there. Okay. We'll just use this. Oh, there's so much stuff selected. All right, so let's just paste that in here. There we go. And so the reason that I wanted to do that is, and not sculpt the terrain, is to, place these on a, concrete surface. All right, like this. Let's actually make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Make sure, I think I might have gone a little bit too high up with it. There we go. That's a good spot there. Make sure it's not coming through the road. So that's good. That's good, good. All right. And over here, we'll try and adjust this road to kind of, go parallel with it. And this is sometimes like the point where you would need like more than, more spline points, right? So let's delete this one and place one here and one there. All right, let's do this one. -70, was it 70? I don't think so. So I'm going to try and line this point up with the entrance. First of all, just trying to make it at the proper height, like that. And now it's kind of a matter of rotation. So that is better. And then this one, -75. So I'm trying to match these. And then also their positioning on the, at least on the Y, so this is moving on the Y axis. So I'm going to try and get those to match. And let's do -3000. And what about this one? Oh, actually, no, that was, sometimes it's weird how these axes work, like this one is, you would think that, you can see like the the Y changing, and then you're thinking like this one is the same, but I think you usually have to like rely on what the axes are here. So that sometimes can get confusing, and I get hit with that too. So let's do 60, what is this 6800 there? And then what is this 6800 here? Oof, that is not right. So that's why I'm saying it's, at least at this point, this could be, and that one doesn't change much, but there we go. I think that, all right, let's see. So we got some numbers, a little bit better control here maybe. But yeah, this one's not going to, see like the number of it is definitely not 4900. That's when sometimes it's a little bit tough to gauge these. So we'll just eyeball it a little bit like that. Let's see how this one is. It seems to be going in there quite all right. So that will probably work. And I'll add another one in here. Actually, that might actually help a little more. So this one you can tell, like that one was the end spline, and yeah, so these are a little bit off between these. But then since now this one's not an end point, and neither is this one, let's see, is it gonna help our positioning a little bit better? I don't know. See, this one's still 6800. Yeah, some of these numbers are weird how they're calculated, but um, hopefully it's going to help us with aligning to this concrete block a little bit better, or at least making this piece of road straight. So that's what I'm trying to get done here. We'll see how well we can achieve that. The other thing is also like the rotations, they they sometimes they don't help. But okay, so that could work. It's somewhat straight, as straight as it can get for a video game. So let's try and get this one in here to about that point. Now the only thing is, I'm probably going to try and get this point here. I'm going to move it and try and lift it up a little bit. So that way when this one gets sculpted is a little bit is more flush with this little power transformer receiving thing. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, let's see. Okay, that seems to be flush-ish. It's gonna affect some of these sides, so hopefully not too much. All right, let's see how this one's gonna sculpt. No, actually, yeah, I was expecting a lot worse of a result. And let's try and like resimulate these. And I need to add a couple more actors, I guess, so that they get ignored. All right, that's better. That's one of the issues and that's why I wanted to try and make these so they don't spawn on a specific material, is that if they're in a different grid than the ones that they reference here, they could cause issues. So kind of something to be mindful of. All right, so that's in place. Let's do something over here, maybe like this, for this corner. Whoops, that's a little too much, too much. Okay, that's better. And let's try and position these a little bit better. And we'll also, or maybe mainly these, kind of some of these just filler assets type of things. All right, and let's also paint this area where, so the trees don't get spawned. And I'm just gonna paint dirt. Dirt is something that has nothing that's spawned on it by the procedural foliage tools. And since we're here, let's kind of paint them on this side. And also, as I was saying, along the wall and around here a little bit. We'll kind of cover this with some grass. And around here as well. Okay. Um, these kind of look a little weird that they're positioned the other way, but that should be fine. All right, let's try and resimulate the trees. And those are like kind of up in the air. So let's lower them down to where they can simulate things. All right, bear with me for hopefully not too long. We'll see how long it's going to take to resimulate these. Shouldn't last time I ran it yesterday, it didn't take too long, so it should be fairly quick. Oh, 3 die. Is it Stalker 2? Yeah, I've seen it. It's gorgeous. But I did hear about some of the bugs, so I'm gonna wait for a little bit until they're sorted out, you know. How's the performance on it? I mean, or how does it run, and what kind of video card do you use? For me, I think the most recent game that I'm playing right now is Avatar: Frontier of Pandora, and that one on my system, I run it at like the lowest settings, and it rarely goes over 30 frames per second. But I mean, that game is beautiful. I mean, it's really Avatar. Luckily, or not luckily, but luckily for people looking for a bargain, it's usually on a pretty big discounts because I don't think it did very well with sales, so they're trying to recoup some of their losses. But yeah, that's unfortunate because the game itself is beautiful. You just need a modern video card to run it properly. All right, so there we go. That was a good. Um, Let me close some of these. I'm not sure why sometimes it's. There we go. Okay. So let's sculpt the rest of this terrain out, or at least flatten it. Just like right around here, like this. There we go. And I'm going to try and paint this here. Unfortunately, this being like this particular mesh doesn't have too many vertices, so that's why it's and why does it? Oh, this is not my bad. Or I'm just not using the right the right material here. While the low play game like schedule getting more attention. Yeah, I mean that's so that's another thing. With with a lot of the games nowadays, it's I think I was talking about in a previous stream, you know, getting there's so many games out there, for starters. So getting players' attention is really difficult. And especially if it's like a indie game, sometimes a lot of them get overlooked. Like I've seen that happen to and I've played some video games that were like really really fun, but they weren't too big because it's there's a lot of games out there. Um, oh yeah, Vichax, what about Unity? If you're asking if I have any experience with it, unfortunately I don't. I've used it once many years ago for a little bit, but then that was about the extent of my experience with it. All right, so there's our little thing here. These are going to be enterable. We just need to paint a little bit more of the dirt around here to remove some of the vegetation. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean 4070 is a good card. On my end, I have a 1070, so it's uh it's definitely a little older. What kind of frame rate are you getting? All right, so that's pretty decent. Let's see if we can maybe smooth this out a little bit here. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so um, to um, to get this completed, let's finish off with the gate, and then Legends Never Die. If you're still around, I'll jump into my character blueprint or animation blueprint, and I'll show you what I have going on. But again, it's one of those things, take it with a grain of salt type of stuff. That this is kind of how I'm doing it, but it's not. I wouldn't say recommended, but again, it's kind of like with game development. There's so many ways that people do the same thing. So um, yeah, just keep that in mind. Oh, from a 1070 Ti you went to a 4070. That's a step up. Nice. That's good stuff. Yeah, congrats on that. All right, so let's try and kind of bridge or like get these as close together as possible. If there we go. Just gonna overlap them a little bit like that. It's still gonna block the player anyway, so that's the main thing that I'm interested in. And then kind of grabbing this one and trying to align these as best as possible. All right, and now I'm gonna try and fake the this section here, this little point. Let's see how that's gonna turn out. I didn't really align them so well. So let's see if we can try and position something here like this. Oh, actually, I want to maybe put this right at the end of this, so that's not like hanging up in the air like it was. And to there. Uh, okay, that can work. All right, so these things overlapping there, not not too jarring, it's not gonna look too horrible. Okay, yeah, I can live with that. Let's finish off before I end the level design part of this. Let's finish up the road here, and so I'm just gonna try and adjust this point here to be as close with that one as possible. It's acceptable. Yeah, there he goes. Okay, and uh, and now I'm just gonna try and place some of these if I still have them, like a couple of decals. Oh, nice. 45. That's pretty decent in epic settings. I guess on a 4070 I was hoping for a little bit more, but they're probably still working to improve some things. So that's why I'm gonna wait until because I'm probably not gonna be able to run it very well on my 1070. Uh, so I'm gonna hold off for just a little bit. Oh, and I'm just noticing a little bit of an issue here where the side fall off should be a little bit less. It was causing this thing to when I thought I sculpted it, but let's try and get this back to where it was. There we go. That's better. Paint a little bit of grass around here. And just I want to add a little bit of an edge over on that end. And let's do I know I have something that I'm using pretty much all over the place. And let's see, where is it? There we go. And again, just go with the grid. Yeah, I did see, they have a lot of details in it. Uh, that's true. So there we go. Just to remove um, that little side, this little part here. So let's just add a few more. just right there. There we go. So that kind of removes that weird, uh, trying to make it a little bit more man-made type of little parking lot. Um, Again, I'm not entirely sure. This is like not a transmission point. It's like a, uh, yeah, it's something transmission. Okay, so guys, that's going to be the part of the level design that I wanted to get done today. I think we've ended up with a pretty good result. Like the player coming through here. There's like the power lines going up the dam. The dam looks decent. There's the let's see. This part is this one is a little bit too sticking out of the ground a little bit too much. Um, there's like the pipes, the dumping pipes. So yeah, that's quite all right. Yeah, so Legends Never Die. Let's go over the anim blueprint for my character, and I'll take you through some of it. So let me see. So if you're using ALS, like Advanced Locomotion System, and if you're looking at the anim blueprint, so let me just open that. So you got the graphs, you got the animation graphs. So on the anim graph, this is what we're getting. So starting from you'll probably notice some of the pieces that are uh, reminiscent of what's in the ALS blueprint, or like the original advanced locomotion. You can see that like there's the base layer, the layer blending, and this is the overlay layer. So in the overlay layer, I'm making some modifications, mostly for when the player is checking the device. So it's picking up the device and looking at it. And this is what's going on here. I'm just playing this ALS checking mission. This is just a little animation when you're looking at the device. So I'm transforming the bone based on the aiming angle, so that way, whenever you look at something, um, it's your device or item is still in front of you, and then blending on the spine, so that way the spine is the one that's being affected by this transform. Disabling the IKs just so that the hands are not trying to be placed on something that has IK, like with the weapons. And then I'm just placing it back into the layer blending. The original ALS was just this overlay layer was going straight into here. So now I'm just using the overlay layer here, this cache, to be able to blend when I'm looking at the device. This could have been done somewhere else, I think, as well, but this has been in place for a while now. Um, you'll notice some of the transforms related to like this post layering, which is from the layer blending. And I haven't added anything in the aim offset behaviors. This is all just the uh-oh. Okay. All just the regular ALS built-in stuff. So let me close out of this because there wasn't anything out of the ordinary to show. I'm going to close some of these things as well as that are not useful. All right, so let's go back or actually wait, did I had too many open, so my apologies. Let's go back in here. Right, so this is also you'll probably remember it from the ALS, just its basic stuff. Um, I disabled the foot IK just hopefully for performance improvements as much as possible. Everything else is also just the same as the ALS, but now it's kind of like where all my other behaviors have been put in. And again, this probably might have been better to be put in the base layer, I think, or the overlay layer. So in the overlay layer is where the developer was recommending to put a bunch of these things, I think, or actually no, this is the overlay state. So let me go back here. Was it in the layer blending, I think? Yeah, so see like in the layer blending, it's it where the original developer was suggesting to do like additional upper body animation, reloads, equips, etc. The only problem with this is that for a first person shooter, it's I wasn't able to get the reload to line up to where you're looking. So if you were to reload the weapon and looking down, then the animation montage would like, pop the weapon up instead of, instead of you looking down at it. So no changes in here that I've made. This is all just basic stuff. The basic stuff that was in the ALS. So what I've done is most of the things, for example, for reloads, they have been added into the state machine. So let's take a look at that real quick. So in the let's see, overlay layer, and again, this is definitely there's definitely probably better ways to do it, and but for me it seemed like uh, this works. So let me show you when I was talking about reloads. So let me show you for the rifle, right? So the rifle, this being a weapon, right? And so hey, Sahara, welcome to your website where you sell your map. So I actually don't sell anything. This is just a video game project that I've been working on for a number of years. So yeah, I just there's nothing to be sold until the game is ready. Yeah. Okay, so legends. Uh, here's how this works. So if the rifle is aiming, let me see. I think I had it in here. Did I or did I not? Oh no, it's actually in reload. So whenever there's like a reload happening, so the basically I'm updating the weapon interaction state to be in a reload state. Basically, you're not being able to fire, you're not being able to do anything. So at that point, I'm entering the reload state. And in here, I can control, similarly to how the device was, you know, I can play the anim reload, the reload animation, right? And I can affect the spine bone based on my aiming angle. So that way I can I can be pointing down with the weapon and then reload and then see the weapon in front of me. Like I don't have to, it wouldn't revert me to like looking straight like the montage would be. And I think, you can set the animation to be additive, I think, and that could be achieved, but I wasn't able to get that done for whatever reason. And then once you blend on this, I blend on the spline, so that way uh, the you're looking down when you're reloading or however the orientation of the spine is, and everything else is just from one of the other states of the um, of this um, of this rifle uh, of this rifle state, right? So this is, I think, just the regular thing that you would have for the rifle. So you can replicate that to all the other weapons that you might have. For example, the knife would be, it's not a reload, but this is how I've done it so that you can use that aiming angle to look at something and like attack at the same time. Um, so let's go back into the anim graph and look at kind of the custom stuff. So the custom stuff is, for example, the vehicle, right? So I have a state for the vehicle where it's mostly, if you can see that when I hover, it's just sitting in the vehicle, right? And so this is, where you place the hands on the wheel And this is also when you when there's like when you die in the vehicle. um, then swimming. This is also added in, and it's a really this is a state, like it's blending on a bowl because it changes the orientation of your player. It's not like applied on the upper body or the lower body. It completely has a different state. So, for example, in my blend space, let me see if where is that opening? Oh, that's interesting. It didn't open it. I thought it was going to open it separately, but I was hoping that I could show you how this one is. I'm not sure why it doesn't open it, but it's just a regular blend space where no speed, you're just like threading water. When you have a speed, a movement speed, you start swimming. So that's kind of it overrides everything happening once you get into the water, right? Then there's the similar way that I handle like when you're on a zip line or crawling, and this is using a anim graph from that package for custom movement. But I needed to be able to determine how to change between them. So this is just a blend pose between my regular movement and either like a crawling or a zip line. And you can see again that I'm using the aiming angle to modify. When I'm crawling, I just want to be able to move the head, to where I'm looking. When I'm in zip line, um, initially, let me just move these out of the way. I was trying to do something with the hands IK. It didn't really work out, so I just kind of fake it so the head is not looking too high up, so it doesn't see the hand basically, right? Because the hands are not going to be perfectly placed on the zip line. But again, I'm moving the head based on the aiming angle, and so that's everything. That's a cache state prior to swimming. Then I'm doing some checks here where depending if there is like if my weapon collides with a wall, then I'm going to be, kind of lifting it up, right? So that's actually the last one. And in here, if the character is a female, I kind of like lowered the shoulders a little bit so it's not doesn't look like so beefy like a male. And so that's kind of just the last adjustment. Uh, but um, but yeah, that's pretty much that was like a very fast forward type of overview of what I've done. So like I said, I should have tried and make more changes in like the overlay in the base layer and the base poses rather than the way I've done it outside of those. But again, I'm a beginner when it comes to these animations, and that was my understanding of it. Um, and it felt easier for me to do it that way. Again, the main part is when you have a weapon and it's equipped and you want to reload or do some other things with it, um, especially with like a rifle or a pistol or something that you point, right? So you point the rifle up, and whenever you reload, you want to see that reload animation happening in that direction. You're pointing up, that's where the reload should happen. And that's why I have mine done. Again, it could have, like I said, it could have been done with a montage, but I wasn't able to figure that out. There's, like I said, with the animations, it's got probably like the biggest variety of how you can do things to my knowledge. So, and that's why I wanted to keep them in the animation states and not as playing montages. So yeah, but yeah, hopefully that helps. Legends Never Die, and yeah, just ping me on Discord. Maybe if you have any other questions, I can try and show you some more separately. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I really appreciate that. Thank you for taking your time out of your Sunday. And next week I'll try and get Restream going and do it on um, YouTube and Twitch at the same time. We'll see. Hopefully it's not gonna, turn into a mess. Uh, but um, but yeah, until then, uh, you might be seeing me like, hey, he's live. I might do a couple of test streams during the week just to see how Restream works. But yeah, feel free to join. Hey, you know what? It's not working for me, or something like that. And I'll post it on Discord just to let you guys know that hey, I'm going live for like a quick test stream to see how Restream is working. I've said stream like so many times. But yeah, guys, have a great week. Have a great week, and I'll see you at some point, either one of those evenings, and or if not, next weekend. All right, take care, guys. Take care. Bye.